Hi there, it's Dennis from BC Tesla Guy. In this video, I'm going to go through the reasons I chose the Standard Range Plus instead of the Long Range or Performance model of the Tesla Model 3 when I purchased it last December. When I purchased my Tesla Model 3 in December 2020, the base price was $45,000, and the only additional thing that I purchased, which was the $2,600 for the red paint, bringing the total to $55,480, and that included a $1,280 destination and documentation fee. At that time, I could have purchased the Tesla Model 3 Long Range for the same base, but with the addition of Long Range, it brought the price up to $68,000. So the difference right off the top is $12,000. The difference was $55,000 for the Standard Range and $67,000 for the Long Range. There are a lot of differences and benefits to getting the Long Range instead of the Standard Range, but the primary reason why most people are purchasing the Standard Range Plus, especially if they're getting the white model, is it stays under the federal and provincial caps for rebates here in Canada. So in Canada, you can get a $5,000 rebate from the federal government that's applied at the time of purchase, so you don't have to fill out any forms, there's no tax thing or anything like that. And it also qualifies here in British Columbia for $3,000 in provincial taxes or rebate. So for that total of $8,000, that total cost for the Standard Range Plus ends up being $54,000 with taxes, everything included. Now, with the Long Range, because it does not qualify for the rebates because it's over $55,000, or because of the price, it also falls into the luxury group, and so that total cost for that car is $78,000. So the difference between the Long Range and Standard Range Plus is in total $24,000. So I'll go through some of the benefits with the Long Range compared to the Standard Range Plus, but Standard Range Plus has that one benefit right there. It's $24,000 difference in cost. Okay, so I've got a cheat sheet here that I'm going off, so I'll be looking down at that, but let's look at cost to start with. So again, I've already mentioned it, but the difference between the Standard Range Plus and the Long Range, after all taxes, fees, and everything like that, it's $24,000 here in British Columbia. So that's a drawback, and I'll give a check mark to the Standard Range Plus for that. Now, battery capacity for the Standard Range is 50 kilowatts, whereas the Long Range has a 75 kilowatt battery. So what does that really do? It gives you additional range in your car. Also, when you're charging the car, that fast charging area is larger. So because the battery's larger, it can charge faster for a longer period of time. So that does benefit when you're going on long trips, because you can stop at a supercharger and charge for 10-15 minutes and sustain a higher rate of charge compared to a Standard Range Plus. So that's another benefit to the larger battery. For the drivetrain, the Standard Range Plus is a rear wheel drive, whereas the Long Range and Performance are both dual all-wheel drive. So I can tell you with my experience of this car with the traction control, on a little bit of snow, it's not so good. I am coming from a all-wheel drive Jeep, but I think that the long-range car with all-wheel drive would truthfully benefit the users that are in a place where you get a lot of snow. The other part to charging the battery is the onboard charger, which is used when you're at home or at a level 2 charger. On the Standard Range Plus, it's capped at 32 amps. There's 3 chargers that are there that each have 16 amps capacity. So the Long Range Plus has 2 16 amp chargers embedded into the system, whereas the Long Range and Performance are capable of 48. So it's faster if you have the ability to do that at your home. In my case, my circuit that I have in my townhouse wouldn't be compatible with 48 amps, so 32 is fine. And for me, daily driving or anything like that, 32 amps, more than enough. It charges my car to full regardless of how much I've driven it in a day. If I come home, if it was totally empty, by the next day it would be filled. So 32 amps is good enough, but it does charge faster. The rated range. So the range rating for the Standard Range Plus is 423. When I got my car, the computer told me I had a range of 421. Now, I got mine in December. It's now telling me I have a range of 402 kilometers range at full. Now, the long range has a capacity of 568, and so definitely has more range. And again, the expectation is you will lose some of that range over a period of 6 months to a year, and then it will level off. And a lot of people, and I'm not there yet, but a lot of people are telling me that that expectation is about 10%. So if you lose 10% of a 423, you're looking at about 380 kilometer range that'll hold for a while. Now, if we do that same calculation on a long range, it's 568. Let's round it down to 565, and we take 10% of that. We're taking off about 56 kilometers. So at that point, we're still above 500 at around 510 after it levels off. So the difference is 380 compared to 510. Now, these are just estimates. I can't guarantee that, but at the 10% degradation or whatever it is that they're claiming, definitely the long range has the range to get around. Now, if you're just driving in the lower mainland or the occasional trip to the Okanagan, the Standard Range Plus is fine in the summer. Now in the winter, it's a different thing. All-wheel drive for the long range, rear-wheel drive for the standard range. In cold weather, these batteries will have less range as well. They're less efficient. So you would definitely have to charge longer at each of the charging stations in the winter, and that charging rate, because of the temperature, is going to be slower. Just to be aware of that. Now, the top speed, I know they always publish this. No one's going to drive it. Let's just look at the numbers here. The Standard Range Plus is rated for 225 kilometers. Who's going to drive 225 kilometers? The highest speed rating in British Columbia is 120. So that's the same with the long range. Long range is 233. So that's kind of a wash. I mean, no one's going to hit it. No one's going to drive that fast. So I know they put it out there, but it's not important. Acceleration. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 5.6 seconds for the Standard Range Plus. I'll tell you what, that's pretty fast. It's not really that good off the line. There seems to be a little bit of a lag that I feel, but If you're going 30 kilometers an hour and you just give it a little acceleration, it puts you back. So I'm not complaining at all with the standard range. It's one of the fastest cars I've ever owned, and definitely it's a solid pull when you do push it down. Now, the long range is 4.4 seconds, so it does have 1.2 seconds faster from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour compared to the standard range plus. And yeah, I think that would be a lot more fun. And you can also purchase the power pack booster for, I think it's $2,000. Now, I'm not sure if that's Canadian or US, and that would bring you down even faster if that was something that you were interested in, because you can't get that with the standard range plus. Another mention about charging your battery. So when you're supercharging or charging at a supercharger, the standard range plus can only go up to 100 kilowatts or 100. Sorry, the standard range plus can only go to 170 kilowatts, and we'll only hold that for like about a minute, if that. I've only seen it there for a minute or so, and then it just gradually tapers off from there till it's back down fairly low. And whereas the long range is capable of 250 kilowatts. So again, larger battery with a higher kilowatt rating when supercharging allows you to charge faster. I'm not sure what that would be, like real life, how that would be, but you would definitely hold above 170 longer than the standard range for sure. So if you're going from here to Kelowna, you could stop at Hope, plug in. I usually do about 10 minutes at Hope and 10 minutes at Merritt. You could definitely just go in, get your pop, come out, unplug, go to the next one and do that. Maybe make it only 6 or 7 minutes. But you definitely can charge faster when the battery is lower. When it's higher, it's not going to make too much of a difference, but there will be a difference. Now, one of the interior differences, the interior is exactly the same. There's nothing different between the standard range, long range, or performance other than these two items. So the first, it wasn't available when I purchased my car, but today it is, heated steering wheel. You get that with the long range and the performance. It is not available. You can't purchase it as an option for the standard range. So that's one thing right there. And a heated steering wheel, it's pretty nice, especially in the colder weather. And then the other item is the sound system. So when you purchase a standard range plus, it has, they claim it's custom audio with immersive sound. So you've got 3 speakers on your dash. You've got 1 speaker in each of the front doors, and you've got 1 speaker in the back doors. That's it. That's all you have. And the ones in the back are like 3-inch speakers, so you almost don't hear them. They're barely there. Whereas if you purchase the long range or the performance model, you get the 3 speakers up on the dash. You get 2 speakers up here, over here on the pillar. You get speakers enabled by the mirrors on the door jamb, and then they have speakers in the back deck back there, plus a subwoofer in the trunk. And that it sounds really good. I've heard it, but I've never turned it up. What I did was I purchased the Hand Show version F model, which turns on all the speakers that I just mentioned and adds the 2 speakers up in the deck and a subwoofer and a DSP to control the sound. I'm not sure if it's better or worse compared to the long range, but I can tell you it does sound a lot better than the standard range. I have a lot of bass. It fills the car. I love it. I think it was, and I paid $1,600 for Jeff at Teslafy to install it for me. And again, I talk about him quite a bit, but he does a really good job. He orders the hardware and then just comes in and you go to his house and he installs it, and it's done in 2 hours. I've had him put the automatic sensor for the trunk. That was like 1 hour. So if you're looking for any of the hand show items to be installed in your car and you're just a little hesitant to do it yourself, I'll put a link down in the description for Jeff and his Teslafy Facebook group where you can go and purchase and, you know, join that information. So that's that. Oh, and I missed the heated seat, so I'll capture that as well. So there was a third thing that's different. So the third thing is, when you purchase the Standard Range Plus, it comes with heated seats in the front and an option that you can buy the heated seats through your app on your phone. I think it's $400 or something like that for the back, but that comes with the Long Range. So the Long Range comes with fog lights, heated seats throughout, a better sound system, a heated steering wheel, and then all the benefits that go with the battery. So a larger battery, faster charging at home, faster charging at the Superchargers, and definitely faster acceleration. So those are all the benefits to it. But again, all those benefits come at a cost of like $24,000 here in Canada. So here are my final thoughts. Standard range versus long range. Well, in my case, the Standard Range Plus was the best option because it saved me $24,000 and I got a beautiful car and it does everything that I wanted to do and I'm happy with it. Now, if I could afford to trade this car in and get a long range, which is something I am thinking about, especially with the increased prices right now of the used market Teslas due to the demand, I might consider it after my rebates have been completed after the first year so that I don't have to repay those. So buy the Standard Range if money is a consideration. If money is not a consideration, then look at getting the largest battery you can purchase. And I would get the standard or the long range. You could get the long range and add that boost and get it up to the speed of the performance. So I would just go with the long range. Performance is a nice car, but you know, I think the long range is like the ultimate car, at least at this point in time. Anyway, Standard Range Plus is a really good car. If you're on the fence, that's where you should go. Now, unfortunately, right now, if you're trying to purchase one, especially the white on white, you're going to look at, and today is August 28th. If you're looking at getting one of those, you're most likely going to have to wait till January. Anyway, I hope I've helped you with those decisions going forward. If you have any questions about that rebate process or purchasing a new Tesla here in British Columbia, leave a comment in the bottom. I'll answer it. If you want me to create a video in something to do with purchasing the Teslas here in British Columbia, leave a comment. I'm more than welcome to address any questions that you might have. So have a good day, and we'll talk to you later.